We've all been binging television for the last handful of months, and we decided we gotta still celebrate it because we love it. And on this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about the 72nd Primetime Emmy Award. On episode 83 of the podcast, cue the music. Welcome, everyone, to the Entertainment Buffet podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon Prosek.
And I'm another one of your hosts, Jessica Kwazz.
And it was awards night, and surprisingly, an awards show where it feel like we enjoyed all of the nominees. Is that like the first time we've ever had that happen, Jess?
That's what it feels like. Like, I feel like every win was so deserved. Every sweep was like it. I am very happy with the results. I feel like there was no like weak winner, you know. So yeah, we are recording this right after the Emmys just ended an hour ago, and we just wanted to do a little recap on what it was like, what happened, the ceremony, the winners. So yeah, we got some stuff to talk about.
Definitely. And I'll admit I did not watch the ceremony. I was not able to watch it from where I was, but I was following all the wins, and I was so happy, like you said, because we've talked about award shows on this podcast, and so often it feels like, really, this person didn't even get nominated, this person got snubbed, this show got snubbed, whatever it is. But yeah, as far as like most of the big important awards, I was like, yeah, they got pretty much all these right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jess, tell me what it was like to watch the ceremony. Obviously, it was not with a big theater, of course. You know, people were remote. So what was it like?
So it was really weird. And it's not weird because it was remote. Like, that had nothing to do with it. The jokes and the style of the hosting was so uncomfortable and so bizarre. Like, for instance, at the very beginning, he did this like weird ass monologue, Jimmy Kimmel, where he was on stage and they would intercut footage from last season of like all the actors and everyone in the crowd. So at first it looked like a regular like ceremony, and I was like really pissed when I saw that. I was like, why aren't they fucking wearing masks? What is happening? You guys don't need to do this. But then like, yeah, after he has said a few jokes, he like turned to the camera and was like, well, just so you know, I'm actually alone here, and like lifted the lights and showed an empty audience, and it was like this weird gag of like, yeah, we can't have people here, haha, we fooled you. And that was like the start of it, like this really weird like pandering, like it just didn't make any sense, like it wasn't funny. And then like the rest of the jokes and the bits were just like stale and weird, and they clearly did not know how to make fun of like what's going on in 2020. Like, they just didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to make jokes about like the format, and they kept having these like really weird like they would like these weird bits where, like, for instance, like Jason Sudeikis came on to announce a winner. But so they list the nominees as you typically do in the award ceremony, and then it's immediately like, okay, the winner is so. But they wouldn't do that this year. There was a lot of like interrupting in those moments, which was super weird. But so Jason Sudeikis comes on, he announces the nominees, and then out of nowhere, this person in a hazmat suit comes up and is like, all right, time for your test. And they like stick the COVID test like in his nose. And
Lovely.
then he was like, okay, well, now it's time to announce the winner. Like, what is that joke? Is that a joke? I don't think that's a joke. And then, like,
Yeah.
another really, really weird incident was Randall Pack came on to announce another thing, and he brought an alpaca as a joke. And the punchline was like, oh, I just found out alpacas and humans can't transfer COVID together, so I brought mine with me. Like, what? That it was just so strange. Like the jokes did not make any sense, and like that's what was weird about it. It's not like the format. It was like these weird trying to be funny but like not landing. And I really think like these type of award shows like this could work. Like the VMA showed it could work, the BET show award shows showed it could work. But for this it was like just out of touch, like no, like they don't know how to make jokes.
Hmm.
And yeah, there was just like I said, there was like these weird ass bits in between when the nominees were listed and then announcing the winner. So it was like, okay, this is not funny, and you're wasting my time. Just get to who the winner is. So yeah,
Yeah.
just like the format in terms of like the host was really really strange. I did not like it. And I
Well,
think
did
like
it feel like
honestly,
they
like
were
in a
doing
post
stuff
COVID.
live?
No, it felt like it was like pre-recorded stuff. And
Okay,
so
because I was curious with like the nominees if they were gonna pre-record stuff or like try to do like live stuff. But I was like, then this could get messy with like connections. I know that like some
yeah.
people got sent cameras and whatnot, but I was like, I feel like this has problems written all over it.
Yeah, well it was like they were streaming in. So like the nominees would be like I believe streaming in. I don't know if it was pre-recorded, but like so but again that wasn't the issue. Like it's kind of actually nice to like see these winners and nominees like in their own home, just like a very intimate look at them. Cool. But like yeah, it was like everything kind of could have really worked except for like the writing and the comedy and Jimmy Kimmel. And I just think like in this post-COVID era of award shows, like we need more creative hosts that like can, I don't know, like bring a fresher perspective. It just felt like enough jokes about COVID. If you're gonna do a joke about COVID, it's got to be funny, and these aren't funny. It was just weird. It was weird. I think
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel needs to retire from hosting because I think he's a little past his prime. Is my opinion.
Yeah, I was wondering, as far as like what you were bringing up with, obviously they were going to be joking all about it because they always do jokes about current events, and this has been like the main current event on everyone's mind for, like 6 months, and so I don't know. I think part of the reason too, like, cause like I could be going to like, um, comedy shows that are like outside or like socially distant or like with masks with like smaller crowds, but I kept wondering, I'm like, is the entire show just gonna be like people doing COVID jokes, which like,
Yeah.
you need to be in a certain headspace to like take those kind of jokes, but then
Right.
also, it's still happening, so it's not like it'll be different in like a couple years from now, or hopefully whenever this is like over, and then like we can like look back on it. But like, because like now you'll see like 9/11 jokes, and like those of, like that was almost 20 years ago. Whereas like, it's like, well, this is still happening. That'd be like if
Yeah.
people were doing 9/11 jokes like while things were still burning, like
Exactly.
it's like things are still fucked up right now. Obviously they had to address it. I'm not saying like, oh, avoid it or like there's zero humor in it, but like you said, it's like it's got to be a good joke. It's got to be
Yeah.
something that is crafted and thought about and not just done to do it, because like there have been other current events happening. I know a lot of things are on hold, but you would just think that like maybe they wouldn't drill it into the ground because like we're already getting reminded of it daily.
Yeah, we know what's happening, and that's the thing too. It wasn't just like a joke here or there. It was like constant throughout the award show, which was like, this isn't funny. This isn't making me laugh. This is making me think about like what's happening. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird. I didn't like that, and like, okay, so also, and obviously I'm a white woman talking about this, so take what I say with a grain of salt. They would do these like really weird, like, like, uh, I'm trying to think of the word for it. It was like testimonials of black and people of color artists. So like Issa Rae was on, America Ferrera was on. So they would have these like segments where they like would like shoehorn in like, oh, we believe in diversity even though not a lot of diversity is nominated, and it was just like these weird like I said, testimonials of like, it's hard to be in this industry as a person of color, it's so strange. And to me it just
Mm-hmm.
felt like this really weird way of like trying to like address racial issues right now, but in a way that was like very performative and
Mm-hmm.
weird, and it felt like it was just a way for the Emmys to save face. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just very strange. Like, like Zendaya like would introduce Issa Rae, and then Issa Rae would be talking about how hard it is as like a black woman to get her shows made. Like, okay, yeah, and I totally respect that. But it just felt like the format of it was almost like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're just trying to kind of shoehorn this in and be like, no, Oscars are so white, but we're not, even though a lot of white people won tonight. Whatever. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm looking through the nominees, and like you said, like um, it's like there. Yes, there are some people of color who were nominated and such, but the fact that television's trying to act like it's so different than film, it's like, no. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
only reason why it'd be like different than film is just because there's so much more television. So if anything, you would
Mm-hmm.
think it should be more diverse because there are like a bajillion channels to begin with. There's a bajillion streaming services, and all those services and channels have many shows, and then all of those things have many cast members who are on for anywhere from like 1 to 10 years. It's like you should be more diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
there are only so many movies. Like, sure, there's tons of independent movies, but like for the most part, like big movies, there's only so many that come out a year. Whereas like television lasts for like years and years with
Mm-hmm.
casts. And like I said, like, well, we're in like a real strange age for television because like Apple and like even like once upon a time Yahoo and like YouTube premium, like everyone wants to get in on the like the streaming game, that so many more shows are being made. Like, yeah, you should be more diverse. You should be even more diverse than you already
Mm-hmm.
are at the moment because you have
Right.
countless opportunities that should be given to many people.
Yeah. And it felt like, I mean, Uzo Duba, Zendaya, and Regina King did win. So that's awesome. But at the same time, like, there was a lot of white celebration there. And so to put in these weird, like, testimonials of people of color just felt like, oh, don't worry, we're not racist. I don't know. It kind of bothered me. It kind of felt, like I said, performative and like weird, and almost like I don't want to say unnecessary because like these stories should be told, but it just felt like this is weird. Like, I don't know why you guys are
Yeah.
doing this other than to like save your own face. But whatever. So
But
let's.
now that's some of the things that you weren't as happy with, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously we were happy with a lot of the winners. Did you want to move on
Yes.
to some of that?
Yes. Let's move on to the positivity because yeah, the like I said, like the show itself was weird as hell, but the winners were amazing. So, let's let's start with the comedy category, which was fucking swept by Schitt's Creek. And I am so happy about it. So we had female comedic lead Catherine O'Hara, male comedic lead Eugene Levy, which also, by the way, go look up photos and videos of Dan Levy in the background watching his dad win. It is so sweet. Like he is just so over the moon and happy. It's so precious. Um,
Aw.
and then we had outstanding director in a comedy, Schitt's Creek, supporting male in the comedy, Dan Levy, and his speech was so sweet, and like Dan just seemed so happy and gracious. Like all of them did. It was so sweet. And then best supporting comedy actress Annie Murphy, which was honestly like who I was rooting for, but I did not think she was going to win. So happy she did. And she also just seemed like so happy and shocked. Like, and then they also won Best Comedy Series. And that for me was like such a positive light because you could tell they were like all so happy for each other. They didn't expect it. And it was, besides Eugene and Catherine O'Hara, they had been nominated before but didn't win. I don't know if Schitt's Creek was nominated before for Best Comedy. Um, so this was a big deal. It was like a really big deal for them. And especially because this was their last season. This would be the last chance for them to win an Emmy. And it was just
Hmm.
really, really great that they got honored in such a big way. It's the sweep we fucking deserve, y'all. Like, this is it. This is
Yeah, I
it.
mean, yeah, we've talked about it. Go listen to some of our top tens of the tens. We had many of these actors that we mentioned and actresses, but also like the show itself. It's definitely a show that has like it felt like it came out of nowhere, even though it was like years ago. But I remember when an ex kind of was watching it. What's this? And she's like, oh, it's Schitt's Creek. I'm like, what is it? And like I saw some episodes. I thought they were funny, but I was like, yeah, I'll have to go watch that sometime. Maybe like once it's banked a couple seasons, I'll like be able to binge it. And then all of a sudden, like it felt like it just grew to where like everyone was talking about it, everyone loved it, and I
Mm-hmm.
finally, like within the last year or so, sat and watched. I believe it was 5 or 6 seasons. It was all the seasons except for the most current one because I think that one's not on Netflix, or at least it wasn't when I was watching it. Um, and yeah, it's like, of course, this should not only have been given all the nominations it was given, but like all the wins. I like look at some of the other nominees and like see that other things could have been given it, but I'm like, I think Schitt's Creek deserves it because it's
Mm-hmm.
just like all over pop culture right now. It's just like everywhere. It seems like it's a show that hasn't had any like problematic things. It seems pretty progressive in a lot of things, but then also just hilarious and heart, has a lot of heart. And so yeah, when you were texting me some of the updates and I was like kind of hopping on and checking in to see who was winning, I was so glad to see. I was like, Catherine O'Hara is like a must win, and so is like Dan Levy. But then I kept thinking, I was like, well, so is Eugene Levy, and so is Annie Murphy. Like, so is the show. Like, everyone
Yeah.
should just get it. And I feel like it's a show that almost everyone loves, except for there's every show is gonna have haters, but like it's like a Parks and Rec or like a Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where it seems like everyone who watches it loves it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just I can't wait to see what a lot of these people do after this show and what Dan Levy does for sure after this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, it honestly like it. The show felt like almost like the little engine that could. When they were first broadcast in the U.S., they were on Pop TV. Who the fuck watches Pop TV? I don't know. And
I
then it
think no
got
one knew what it was until this show.
yeah, truly. And then it got this like bigger second life on Netflix where more people were watching it. And then from there it became regarded as one of the best comedies in the decade. So it's just really sweet and special that like they got celebrated in a way that they deserved, especially because like the growth of the show and the production. So yeah, honestly, I'm just so happy about it. Like I think it's totally deserved. And again, just a great, amazing way to celebrate the end of the show is for them to get what they deserved. So I was
Definitely.
extremely happy with it. I still am. They just deserve it. And again, like they all just seem like so sweet and supportive and so happy and so shocked too. It was just a very amazing to see like their reactions to winning. So that was definitely probably the biggest highlight of the night for me.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm so happy for this show. I mean, like my partner and I are always quoting it. Like we love just doing that. If something's a little gross, we're just like, you, David.
yeah,
you
yes.
know, and fold the cheese, David. Fold the cheese.
Fold
You
the
know, just
cheese. Oh my god, that's iconic. Iconic.
and we love quoting it, and I can't wait to see the final season, and I'm probably going to rewatch it at some point.
Yeah, I think like I emotionally cannot bring myself to watch the last season because I just don't want to. I don't want to say goodbye. Like I'm not ready for that. I'm just not. I'm just not.
You're like
I
me
think I
with
would
Queer
like
Eye, where
rewatch.
I'm still like seasons behind because I'm not ready.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not ready to say goodbye. It's too much. I've heard the ending is amazing and I'm sure it is, but for me, I am not emotionally capable of saying goodbye to it. So, one of these days. So you want to move on to other categories?
Definitely.
Okay, so just like some shorter categories we'll touch on. Best talk show went to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Nice.
And I watch clips of it. I don't watch it like religiously, but it is a show that gives intense news that's comedic and digestible. And it's probably like the most unique talk show on the air right now. So I think that was very much deserved. Um,
Hmm.
RuPaul's Drag Race won Best Competition Show, which is amazing in my book. Um, Zendaya won for Best Actress in a Drama. I have not seen Euphoria yet. I keep hearing I need to, but she is the youngest to win an Emmy, so good for her, girl.
Nice.
Um, so let's get to the uh, the mini limited series portion where Watchmen fucking owned it.
A- as
So
expected.
as expected, the only loss that they had that I was kind of salty about was Jeremy Irons was up for Best Supporting Actor in a limited series, and his performance in that is so weird and evil and complex. So like for me, I was like, oh,
Hmm.
he's got to fucking win. Like, come on, he did not. Mark Ruffalo won for a show that I can't remember the name of and never seen, but okay. Um, so who doesn't love Mark Ruffalo? But still, Jeremy Irons deserved it in my opinion. Um, but I'm not bitter. Um, and then Watchmen won. Here we go. Best writing for a miniseries, and they won for the episode. Without giving too many spoilers away, because if you're listening and you haven't seen Watchmen, you gotta fucking watch it like right now.
Yeah, it's only 9
Best rate.
episodes.
It's only 9 episodes, and it's beautiful television. Um, they sorry, they won best writing for limited series for the episode that was in black and white, with the
Hmm.
nostalgia pill, which honestly was like one of the most incredible episodes in terms of writing, like
Yeah.
maybe in the last decade. So that was like fucking deserved. Like that episode was beautiful.
Yeah, well, what I have to say, and I'm not a super like Watchmen junkie. I did read the graphic novel after I saw the show. Like I had seen the movie and I knew known the story, but like yeah, that episode in particular, without spoiling it, they took a character that's kind of in the background that like you've seen, and gave it like this whole new origin story, but then also connected it with the current story. And it was just like, yeah, this all seems to make sense, but then also I feel like as far as like the like it did what like most adaptations should do, which is like if you're not gonna adapt something like identical, like just make sure it's like in the spirit of it. And like it feels like
Mm-hmm.
that show really got Watchmen. And I remember listening to a podcast with the showrunner, and he said like that was like his biggest goal was to hopefully show that like he gets the graphic novel, but then also like expand upon it. And yeah, it just that episode, I had no idea it would go the places it went, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was amazing.
Yeah, it was very complex and a lot of character growth and exploration. Like it deserved best writing for sure.
Hmm.
Another place that it got robbed was it lost best directing. It won to
Oh,
Unorthodox, which I have not seen yet, but I hear is really good. But I'm still a little salty because I think the directing in Watchmen was it. Yaha Abdul Mateen won for Best Supporting Actor, which is completely deserved. His performance is beautiful. And
hmm.
then our fucking queen, Regina King, won for the lead. Fuck yeah. I would have been happy with Kerry Washington and Little Fires Everywhere because that was also amazing. But Watchmen was elevated by Regina King's performance. Like, it's incredible. She deserved to win
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah,
And then it won Best Limited Series. And also it
which
was really
I was just gonna
sorry.
say, like, no, I haven't seen any of the other shows, but like, I have without a doubt that this show was probably better than those other ones. Not that they
Mm-hmm.
didn't deserve nominations, but like, Watchmen was just incredible, and you don't need to read the graphic novel, you don't need to see the movie. Like, sure, you could probably be enriched by that stuff, but it's just such good television and so relevant to like 2019, to like things that are still happening now. It was so creative, great in the adaptation, great in the performances, the twists. There's action. Like it just like what more do you want? Like it has everything in 9
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah. You should definitely go watch it. Like Brandon said, even if you know nothing about Watchmen, like that's okay. It will still all make sense. And honestly, it's like one of the best pieces of television we've gotten in recent years. But another thing that was
Absolutely.
really sweet was when they won Best Limited Series, they dedicated the award to the Tulsa Massacre victims, which is really amazing. If you watch the show, you'll know. But if not, watch the show so you'll know. And I
For
also feel
sure.
like what's really interesting about Watchmen winning so many things is that the wins are a big deal because it's not like a typical award show. Like, like it's not one you would think would be held. I mean, it's very well done, but it just doesn't like it's a superhero dark kind of funky kind of weird show. It's not one that you would think would be winning awards. So I think that that's
Yeah,
really amazing.
definitely. I agree. I mean, I think that's where And we've talked about it when it comes to like Oscars and stuff too. I think that like a lot of award things in the past see comic book adaptations, they just throw it into the superhero category, and like they just think it's for kids. And it's like, no, if you really look at comic books in general and then adaptations of them, like there's some of the best storytelling. It's, to me, it's just as good as like books. It's like graphic. The reason why like it was called a graphic novel is because like it's not just like some comic book. It's like Watchmen, and then the show itself, it's like they speak on a lot of political and societal and just like world topics that are extremely relevant. And just because people are in like masks and capes and all that stuff doesn't mean that they don't have as much to say as other shows that don't have those things. Like, sure, there are shows like Arrow and Flash, and like those shows, maybe I understand why they're not nominated for best stuff and they're just fun shows. But like this was something different. This was like high class, high budget. Like HBO did it so well. The showrunners handled it so well, and like they knew that like there's something special here. And also the fact that they could have easily done more seasons, like maybe jump forward in time or back in time, whatever. But like right now in time, it seems like this is going to be the only season of it. And I'd be happy with that, because it was such a satisfying story. When I binged it in like a week or two, I was like, "Whoa, oh my God, like this was so well done."
And I would say too, like I totally agree with you. And there's so much complexity in the show, and so much that can be related to now and everything going on. So I'm really glad like the Emmy Academy didn't just like dismiss it because it was like, well, it's just people in masks and superheroes. Like it's way more than that. And so I'm very glad it was celebrated for what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like we talked, I'm sure we talked about at one point, like early seasons of Game of Thrones. I'm pretty sure they're just like, it's just a show with swords and tits. And it's just like, no, there's some stuff on there that it's like one of the greatest shows ever. It can be fantasy. It can be horror. It can be comic book adaptation. It could be whatever. It's like, if it's just done well, that should be all that matters. It's not the method or it's not the like subject that it's on that should matter.
Okay, so I want to say two more things about the ceremony itself. So they did the typical in memoriam part of the award show, and it was really beautiful. It was really well done, but I had such a hard time watching it because I just kept forgetting, like, how many people died. Because there's so much shit in 2020, it's easy to forget. So I was, like, getting really emotional because I would see, like, Naya Rivera pop up, and then Fred Willard pop up, and, like, James Lipton. And I'd be like, oh my God, that's right, all these people have died. It's, like, it was really hard to watch. And, like, I, not to sound heartless, don't typically get, like, a big emotional reaction from those because I mean, I don't know, I guess I'm a heartless bitch, I don't know, but like this one especially,
no,
like,
it's because you've heard the news of their death when it happens, and then when the award show comes around, it's not as hard. But like this, at a time where we're thrown constant bad news like all year long, you're forgetting about celebrity stuff.
yeah, so that was like a really hard watch, but it was beautiful. And yeah, it's just like so much shit happened in 2020 that I forgot. Like, oh my God, yeah, that's right, he died. So moving on to a completely different topic. Here we go. Tyler Perry was awarded the Honorable Governor's Award, which is like the Cecil B. DeMille Award for the Emmys. And so it's basically like this honorary award celebrating all the groundbreaking work he's done for television. And I'm like, Have y'all seen any of Tyler Perry's shows on television? Because I wouldn't say they're the most culturally relevant nor leave a cultural impact, but you know, what do I know? It was weird. Like, it was really weird. Like, yes, he's carved his own way and has done so much for like black representation on TV, but like, really, Tyler Perry? I don't know. I just found that very strange that
Mm-hmm.
he would get this like prestigious award when you have people like I would even say like Ryan Murphy. He's been doing a lot for representation and he turns out TV like nobody's business. Or like Norman Lear, he's still alive and he had like a massive impact on how TV is now. So yeah, I don't like Tyler Perry myself, but I was almost like borderline offended that they gave him an honorary award because I was like, what? His TV shows are like literal soap operas. Has whatever. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
sounding like a bitch, but it was just weird.
No, I don't think you are. I think it rings a little odd to me more so because, I just checked and he's only, about 50, 51. And so it's like you said, there's other people who have been in the industry, whether it's longer or, have done more things. And it's like you'd think that they would get recognition first. And then, like, maybe in the next
Mm-hmm.
few to 5 to 10 years, like maybe when he's done more things, because I'm sure he's producing more content, that it's like then he can get honored. It seems a little strange. And I'm not saying like always give it to the oldest person, but like
Mm-hmm.
it just, there's a reason why you could wait, is because like he's still only 50 and he's still probably going to be doing plenty of work, whereas like other people have done a lot longer. But eh,
Yeah.
interesting
And I just
choice.
very interesting and I don't feel like his work in television has made some sort of like groundbreaking uh cultural impact. I mean, I've never watched any of his shows, but by the trailers it is like high octane soap opera, wild times, and it's like, well, that's, we've had that forever. I don't know if you're adding anything new to the table, again, and not to take away from his accomplishments or what he's done for like bringing people of color in movies and TV. But when it comes to TV specifically, it's like, him? Okay, that was weird. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just felt that that was like a very strange choice, and I wasn't like stoked that he got an honorary award. But whatever.
Yeah. But shall we move on to the section of drama now?
Yeah, or the section of Succession, because they had a lot of wins. Um, so Jeremy Strong won for Best Lead Actor in a Drama, and I am stoked. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm so happy.
Yeah, he definitely his character in season 2 went through the ringer, and so he had to show many different sides. And
Mm-hmm.
from where he started to where he went to, I think he played it really well, and I think he's going to kind of hit a different stride in his career where he's going to start being in more things. He is in the upcoming Sorkin Netflix movie that's going to be coming out in
Oh, right.
about a month. He's going to be in that, which like we joke, or we've said how like Secession is very Sorkin-esque, and so now I want to see him with Sorkin dialogue. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well deserved for that spot. And like so many of the actors on that show could have been, so many were nominated. It was just like Schitt's Creek, where I was like, well, is Secession just gonna sweep the drama acting, and then Schitt's Creek's gonna sweep the comedy acting? Because these are like the best shows on TV.
Yeah, I would have been completely fine with that. Like, no issue. But yes, on that note, um, I was bitter because Tom McFadden, Culkin, and the guy who plays Greg, whose actual name I can't remember, were all nominated.
Guy who plays Greg.
Who plays Greg? Well, to call him Greg, because he's probably Greg in real life. They were all nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Drama, and honestly, the three of them give performances, like top echelon performances. So, and there were three of them nominated in category 5. So, like, I was like, at least one of them has to win. But no, it went to Billy Crudup. He won for The Morning Show, which is a show that literally I have no one that I know watches it. But okay. So yeah, I was a little bitter about that because, like, we had 3 really strong contenders and it went to him. Whatever. And then
we like we're on the show.
Right, like we did the Succession fandom 3. Yeah, so that was disappointing because I think like all 3 of them fucking deserved it. I mean, they all. And again, I haven't seen Morning Show because, you know, no one really has. So maybe he is amazing.
It's on like
at
Apple,
it.
right?
I don't know. Yeah, it's on Apple TV, which I do have, but it's just never interested me. So I don't know. And then Sarah Schnook was nominated for Best Actress in a Drama, and I really, really wanted her to win. But she lost to the girl in Ozark, and just nah. Not of that.
I mean, I've heard good things about Ozark, but
Yeah.
I think Succession is just one of those shows that there's no weak performance really when it comes to like the main family and a lot of the main characters. Like, it's just like a masterclass of acting. So even if you don't find this story interesting, like, just watch it for all the performances.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think, God, they all just deserve so much fucking recognition. It's just like, it's an ensemble that everyone brings something to the table, and it's incredible. So yeah, those guys didn't win, bummer. But it did win Outstanding Drama Series. So it won Best Drama. That's what matters, because it's the fucking best. Also, fun fact, when they were announcing the nominees, I didn't realize The Mandalorian was nominated.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that too. I still haven't seen the first season. I know the second season's coming. I'm considering, getting a hold of Disney Plus just so I can kind of binge that. But out of the drama nominees, I was very happy with most of these. I did see the latest season of Better Call Saul. Loved it. That show's been incredible the entire time, which feels like the show's been going on forever, even though it's only 5 seasons. I've heard good things about Ozark. Heard great things about Handmaid's Tale and The Crown and Killing Eve and The Mandalorian, and then just recently watched the latest season of Stranger Things. And so it was crazy to see, if you look at all of the places, it's like HBO, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, BBC America, AMC. So it's like streaming services are just like taking over, which we knew this already, but like, there's obviously nothing from ABC, NBC, Fox, any of that. It's just like all like the fact that Netflix had 3, Hulu had 1, HBO had 1, Disney Plus even had 1 in one of its first shows. It's just crazy to see where we've come.
Yeah. And yeah, there was a really good mixture of the nominations for Best Drama Series. I'm, like, honestly really surprised Mandalorian was, because going back to Watchmen, like, that's not typically, like, a show you would think would be up for awards, which is really great, I think. So yeah, that was exciting that they had a nomination, and even more exciting that Succession won, so I'm real happy. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I'm
Well,
happy with the big winners: Succession, Watchmen, Schitt's Creek. I just am.
yeah. I agree. You know, looking through all the nominees, you know, and there's, you know, we were talking about it with Watchmen, and Mandalorian, but like if you look at a lot of the nominees, like, you know, Marvelous Miss Maisel isn't like a typical comedy. It's kind of like a period piece that has a lot of drama in it. I haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, but obviously that's like more fantastical. Handmaid's Tale is kind of like a, you know, a dystopian different world, and then Mandalorian, like we said, Stranger Things, and so it's like seeing all these things that aren't typical is really great to see, because
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it with the Oscars, you know, back when we were really wanting Get Out to be nominated, even though people were hesitant to because it was a horror. It's like, no, good content can happen from all genres. It's just the execution of the genre. It's not like, I think sci-fi things like The Mandalorian, you know, should be recognized if they are the best. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think people, you know, because like they've been doing Star Trek for decades, different forms. They've been doing so many things that when, you know, Star Wars was doing like a live action, it's like, oh shit, this is going to be crazy if it's done well. And all the things that they did with like the LED screen technology opposed to green screens, I think it can open up a new world for these types of shows to be done on a TV budget. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
like Game of Thrones and Stranger Things, like these are TV shows that have movie level budgets and quality that I think, you know, that TV is just crushing it right now when it comes to these things.
Yeah, and even like smaller, lesser known shows like Rami, like they're being nominated, and it's just yeah, this year was really nice because the pool of nominations were so different and diverse in terms of like what the show is itself. And like, you know, other awards, especially the Oscars, it's like you can easily predict like okay, a period piece, uh an intense drama. We're gonna get all like you know like the bubble like the boxes it's gonna fill. Whereas this year with
Mm-hmm.
the Emmys, it was like yeah, kind of all over the place. Like if it's good quality, it was like there, which is really cool. And I hope that that like does something to the future of awards where people actually like are getting the awards they deserve because that's I mean that's the whole fucking point, you know?
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm real excited with a lot of these shows. You know, it's gonna be real curious come next year because, you know, there's only so many new things being worked on and such. You know, with COVID, but it's glad to see that like hopefully this trend continues where like the shows that are not only have big audiences but are also critically acclaimed can get awards recognition. It's not just things that check those boxes.
One thing I will say was a lot of the speeches had really amazing messages that were not like too controversial or too political, but just like powerful and subtle, in which they were saying, like, they were talking about fighting for what's good, a lot of messages about voting, division in the country, respecting diversity, wearing a mask, treating people well, go voting. And I truly enjoyed that. Like, because it wasn't like shoved down your throat. It was just very subtle, like an acknowledgement of like, we are very close to the election. And on that note, I know we do not get political on this podcast, but I gotta say, the election's coming up. We're less than 50 days away, only a few weeks. And I would encourage everyone listening to make sure you're registered to vote because they have been purging voters. So if you go to headcount.org and type in your information, they will let you know if you are registered to vote. So make sure to go do that. Make sure to register and make sure that you vote. Even if, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but your voice counts and we need more voices. So again, headcount.org will tell you if you are still registered. And yeah, just be prepared. We need you. We need everyone.
Definitely. Like you said, we don't get political, but these are crazy times, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
And things need to change, hopefully for the better. So yeah, please do that. It is a thing that I think a lot of us take for granted, and also just like it doesn't matter. It's like you can say that, but also it's like, why not do it? And then
Yeah,
why
exactly.
not just do it? And then if nothing, if the person you voted for doesn't win, it happens, but like, just do it.
Yeah. And we will put some links in the show notes, just like head count, Vote Save America, just things that like you can make sure you are registered. It's not too late to register in a lot of states. So yeah, please go check that out if you're unsure of what's going on with your status. And again, I'm not trying to tell you who to vote for, um, but I think it's important we get as many voices out there as possible. So yeah, I'll stop talking
Definitely.
politics now.
That's all right. Yeah, I agree with what you said, and yeah, we're like you said, we're gonna be putting those links in the show notes. But um, please, if you want to continue checking out our content, as far as we're going to be picking back up on our Mission Impossible watch along with movies 4, 5, and 6 on the next episode. You can go and check that out. We are Entertainment Buffet on YouTube. Podcast is available pretty much any place podcasts are available. So yeah, Entertainment Buffet podcast, Entertainment Buffet on YouTube. We'd really appreciate some subscribes and likes and shares and all the things that would help support us.
Yeah, and where can they find you on the socials, Brandon?
Oh, if they want to find me on the socials, they can find me at Brandon Prosek on Twitter and Instagram.
And for me, I am at Jess Kwazz, JessKwazz, on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm still twitching. I'm twitching away.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not good at video games, so you can follow me and laugh at how messy I am. It's a good time.
uh, awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for following along with the Emmys with us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.